Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Cool.
Hello, apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the weekly video games podcast where we give our impressions of the games that you can play today and react to the latest news from the wonderful world of video games. We are here every Monday on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. This week, I am once again joined by the three-time Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz champion. It's Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How's it going?
I am fucking lethargic. I've got a belly full of fucking roast din-dins
Roast dinner, was it?
and a couple of some San Miguel to wash it down.
I had a
Now-
skinful Friday night, and I don't feel,
Cool.
still feel drained from that. I felt awful yesterday morning, like properly bad. I had a little trip to the toilet to get rid of some of that fluid, and so I'm still a bit tired, but there we go. Coming in hot for this one.
Yeah, coming in hot. We've got Sunday cinema trips being organised. Who's doing this?
What are we watching?
Possibly Ghostbusters or this MCU tour.
What, Eternals, is it?
Undecided. Eternals, yeah. I was supposed to go midweek, but
Got blown
got
out.
there and I was like, well, I didn't go, went to go. The fucking kids were playing up. I was like, right, they were being fucking bastards. And then looked at the running time and it was 2 hours and 47
Ooh.
minutes. So, oh,
You want to be starting
That's
that
bad.
early?
exactly. That was about 7:30 showing, so you get a couple of hours in there. You're not getting out till got nearly midnight.
No, not with
Oh.
the fucking 40 minutes of trailers they put in.
Yeah, I was gonna
beforehand.
say.
Definitely runs long, but we'll get down to things because I think last week we waffled a bit. I always aim to get an hour in, but sometimes
Yeah.
it goes long. I'm going to try and be better, but today we'll make sure it happens to a certain extent. But generally, I must just need to be better at hosting things. So I just let things rattle on and rattle on myself, like I'm doing right now. But I wanted to kick things off with a new segment, courtesy of our wonderful audience. I'm calling it the Voice of Reason. Yeah. Actually, I feel like I should call it the Voice of Treason. Some of the rude things these cunts say to us, based on what we say, I feel like you treasonous bastards turning your backs on us. But unbelievably, some people that watch or listen to this have the gall to question what we say. Some of the cheeky fuckers want to correct us. Or they just want to put forward a different perspective. I couldn't believe it when people started reaching out to us. I was like, you cheeky bastards. We're never wrong. Well, whatever we say is 100% right. No.
Yeah.
Joking aside, we do welcome this. I like to hear different opinions, perspectives. Keep us honest. I think if we were left unchecked, the podcast probably would have gone down the drain a long time ago. So we need to be kept honest, I think, a little bit. So if you want to do it, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, wherever you can, get up us and we'll try and incorporate what you say into the podcast. Anyway, this one is focusing on last week's chat about Forza Horizon 5 and the early access, and it comes from Erebus Jones. He got in touch with me on the old Discord. And it's not really a blanket statement to read out. We had a bit of a chit-chat back and forth, but I did want to bring up a few points that he'd made. And starting off, this is not the first time that Forza Horizon have done this. At least from Forza Horizon 3, they were offering some sort of paid early access via the Ultimate or Premium editions. So you could do that back in, at least from 3 onwards, and I think in 7 and 8 he perhaps mentioned. But in any case, for Horizon, it has been something that's been going on. So it's not new. My response really to that is that that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But I don't like it.
Oh, no.
So it doesn't change my perspective. They've been doing it, for a long time. That's fine. But for those that don't agree with it or want to shout up, I think we're inclined to still do that. And that's where we'll continue to raise concerns where we find them. So if this happens with Halo, if this happens with Starfield, Fable, I'll be having the same opinion then, although I might have a different perspective. Second point was that on the Xbox side of things, incomplete games or games in progress, which we would normally refer to as early access, are known as game preview. So that is the correct terminology that Phil and Alan like to peddle out. So something like Grounded, in our heads, would go, well, that's early access because it ain't finished yet. And that's how... I mean, I think like Steam popularised all this years ago when it first started. There was a lot of... Because it wasn't on consoles, at least it wasn't on Xbox for a while. I don't think it's even on PS5, maybe it is, or PS4, but it was always Steam going, look, early access this, and you get it cheaper to start with.
Wreckfest was one of them.
Yeah, it was called Next Car Game or something, wasn't it?
That's it.
Forever.
Yeah.
We was talking
Definitely was Steam that started this.
Yeah, we was talking about...
Malarkey.
What was that old... Stranded Deep was talking about that the other week. That was another early access one.
Like an exclusive as well. It's just recently come out with Toilet. Bright Infinity, is it? Or Bright Infinite?
You on the drugs again?
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I don't actually.
Right, it was like in the place. It was like supposed to be a Series X exclusive.
Right.
And it was on Steam. Hold on. Bright Memory
Oh.
Infinite. That was it. Do you remember that one?
No.
Well, that's been on Steam early access for about 3 years.
Right.
Well, I made that up.
I mean, the biggest offender of all this is Star Citizen. How long's that been in fucking progress for?
Yeah. No, it's all right. Yeah, it came out January 2019. It came out early access, and then it's just released 2 days ago as a real game.
Yeah.
But that's been on thing. But that was going to be an exclusive to the Xbox Series X.
Wow.
Day one launch title, but they blew it.
They blew it. So if you're on Steam, it'll be early access. If you're on Xbox, it's game preview. And early access in Xbox world means you get it. I'm not going to say you get it early. You get it earlier than you can. You get it basically day one, because for me, Forza Horizon 5, day one was the 5th of November. That's the day it was ready to go, because they all started piling people in. That's how I've interpreted it. So just thought we'd clarify that, because we did bring up Grounded and a few others, but didn't make it clear that they're known as game preview games and are not finished. That was not the case here. And then the final part, well, not the final part, one extra part was we didn't really talk about the value of this package to a fan of the series. So what Erebus has said is that it was 35-ish UK pounds. It may have been 36. I can't exactly remember with the Game Pass extra sort of discount you got with it. But old Jonesy secured himself 2 expansion packs worth £15 a pop, a car pass worth 25 UK pounds, VIP membership worth 15 UK pounds, and a welcome pack worth 4 UK pounds. And on top of that, early access. So if you're interested in the game and you're going to be buying the expansion passes and all this stuff anyway, it is a no-brainer. That's a great saving to be had. So if you're going down that road anyway, I think that's important to kind of highlight that perspective, because I'm trying to steer away from conversations about value when it comes to hard-earned UK pounds, because, like I said, you set fire to a fiver, people react differently. It doesn't mean the same to everyone. And for old Jonesy, who was going down this road anyway, the early access piece was just the cherry on top of a cake that, to be frank, he was going to stuff his greedy fucking face with anyway. He was going to eat the cake. The cherry was just there. I didn't want the cake.
Not having it.
Just to have the cherry, I didn't want to eat all the cake. That's my view, and I was frozen out. So yeah, that's kind of like where we got to.
It's an interesting, but I didn't really. Yeah, I suppose a bit like that Animal Crossing thing. Like with people, when they're going to buy that DLC anyway. Yeah, they might as well get that online subscription.
Expansion pack. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but then you're like, well, the thing is, again, it's the idea that you'll get something more down the line. I think at least with Forza Horizon, they've been really consistent with their DLC packs, like you mentioned last week about the Lego and the Hot Wheels one in the past, and you normally get like a vanilla one to start with, but they've been pretty good. And if you're already enjoying the game and you're going to buy them anyway, and it's a long-term game for you, it kind of makes sense. I still kind of maintain that if Xbox or anyone did a flavour of this for like every first-party release, you'd eventually get the ump with it, because the law of averages suggests to me that eventually there'll be this game, and these are the worst ones. These are not in the games that you don't care about. These are the ones that you're really hyped to play. You're super interested, but you just don't want to commit to either buying an unreleased DLC or a load of digital goodies. You're in that sort of middle ground, and that's where it becomes a pain in the arse. And that's likely to happen if Xbox decide to roll this out. And you know what the gaming industry's like. Full of fucking copycats. The Allens, the Ubisofts, the EAs, fucking Jim Ryan. I bet he's having a good old look over that wall going, you made it 50 million and the game wasn't even out. Oh, there's some easy cash to be made. Yeah. Don't underestimate these copying bastards.
No, I can see it definitely being a trend. Halo being around the corner, because they're considering, could they do something like that?
Well, we have got Halo coming up, and there's some rumours that will be fulfilled or unfulfilled in about 12 hours from when people listen to this. If they listen to it day one, there's no early access for this shit. But I'd like to see this early access period rolled into Game Pass like they did with Gears 5. Like, if you're going to say Game Pass is the lifeblood of the platform, that seems like a really cool perk. Like, don't underestimate how powerful that could be. Like, if you communicate it properly, you go, right, Starfield a week early if you have Game Pass. It's like, okay. Well, and people that aren't in Game Pass will be like, well, and it's not it's a cheap it's a cheap sort of commitment for people who aren't members of Game Pass, and you get a shitload of access to other stuff, and hopefully, I guess from Xbox's perspective, they'll stay. But with Game Pass being this, supposedly a huge part of their model.
Just had a recent report on there about how many people they've got.
Who's this? Game Pass?
On Game Pass, yeah. Was it recent?
Probably about 8 months ago, knowing you.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, 23. Did I just see that? When was this? Cool, it was April.
Well, the rumour was that they were. So the rumour was that they were nearly at 30 at one point. That's kind of been poo-pooed a little bit.
It's definitely been one more recent than April. I saw it like the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah, October.
What are they saying?
They're saying 18. So
that's the last. Yes, they gave us 18 quite a while ago, and they've not kind of gone back on that. But the good thing about Forza Horizon 5, taking away all the semantics about early access and that and whatever. I've just read this from Gaming Bolt. I'll just put it in again because it keeps ticking up. Forza Horizon 5 surpasses 8 million players.
Oh,
that's huge. And they said that on launch day, I think it had 4.5 million, and that was their best Xbox first party release. Like, that's the highest number of players they've had, which is super impressive. I know that Game Pass makes it easier for people to try these things because you ain't got to shell out, but that's a huge haul of players, and I suspect the next time they do the next sort of big release, which might be Redfall, depending on how far they push that. I think the number's they're gonna have another new record. Starfield again, another new record, and it's going to keep going until we kind of level it out. But I really do think with Game Pass growing and engagement on the platform growing, that there's a great chance for them to keep extending that. But Forza Horizon boys done a good job, and I bet you Alan and fucking Phil Spencer are laughing.
Oh, yeah, I've just found that new update I was looking for. It was September, it's saying, but I swear I saw a newer one than that. But yeah, they have the CEO of Take-Two confirms.
That's what he said. Well, he might well know. What I heard was that he'd said that a couple of like the in the know sort of journos like Jeff Grubb, who leaks a lot of stuff, said he doesn't think it's that high, but it's something like maybe 25 million.
Right, yeah. But in January 2021, they were at 18 million.
Yeah.
And he reckons they're at 30 now. And that's September, a month ago, 2 months ago.
No. But, yeah, I mean, it's safe to say, just the early access period of Forza Horizon was a success with nearly 1 million players. Old Alan's had a new yacht out of that. So is he going to turn down another yacht when Redfall comes out, or Halo, even in the next few hours? We don't know. Let's get into the Halo Infinite rumours, because we've been teasing it. So I've taken this from VGC, Video Games Chronicle. Get me that website. Love it. Microsoft could be playing a surprise early release for Halo Infinite's free-to-play multiplayer mode. That's according to date references found in the source code for the game's official store page. Twitter user Adam Fairclough discovered on Friday that the page contained multiple use of the date November the 15th at 1800 GMT, the one true time zone, as we know it. These dates were used in reference of pre-order release date. That roughly matches up the time of which Microsoft is set to hold a special 20th anniversary Xbox live stream. Microsoft has previously said it won't announce any games during Monday's event, but has urged fans to tune in. So Matt Booty sends out a tweet saying, "Don't watch this. Basically, it's not going to have any games in it." And then the data miners, the people getting into the back ends of these things, start finding shit. Shortly after the website date was published, Microsoft seemingly updated the store page to change it to December the 8th, which is the part we were getting. It was also claimed that Halo Infinite will be getting an early access bundle and multiple DLC packs, so we could be seeing that again. Multiplayer, well, it's not technically all a multiplayer game, but that's what's going to be keeping it running. So the early access store is currently blank apart from text early access digital bundle. But if it valid marks, well, I won't even bother going into any bits of that. But what's going on here? Because it's just sort of broke over the weekend, this, and it's a lot of noise suddenly piping up. I don't know what to believe now.
Halo Hub, the thing I saw, it was like a Halo Twitter company or something, that thing. And it said,
they've got all access to the APIs that collate all the stats and whatnot. There's a shitload of tentacles into some of the Microsoft
there we go.
areas.
Yeah, that's it. Halo.api, that's the one.
Yeah.
Halo says Heroes of Reach, November 15th. And I just tweeted that out, November 11th, and went, deal with that. So, I mean, as it is a separate entity, chuck it out if it's ready. Why are we waiting?
That's true. I mean, all the stuff we know, in fact, with campaign not having Forge and co-op campaign, suggests that that's the part of it that's struggling. The technical tests that everyone's played multiplayer and had goes at just have all been so positive.
To be fair to them, it probably would do them favours, because if they do chuck this out and people are chucking, that's their first impression.
Yeah.
They're saving it.
That's the best foot forward, isn't it, for a month?
Exactly, yeah.
Build up some goodwill until they drop that awful campaign.
Exactly.
Halo Far Cry Edition.
Imagine that.
I hope it's not awful. I hope it's good.
Yeah, we'll see. But I was watching an review today, randomly, of COD Vanguard.
Oh, yes.
They were saying, this year's seems to be more, the focus is on the campaign rather than the multiplayer, which seems odd for, I'm sure, in terms of stats, people will still be playing the multiplayer more. Yeah. But I feel like that's a bit like this. Like, as much as the multiplayer is a big part of Halo, because we've had such meh campaigns the last two run-outs, there is this big focus on the campaign. The fact that it's, this big open world, been delayed and re-bumped up. So the focus definitely is there. And if they are struggling with that, chuck this out. So that gets all the people going, cool, yeah, it's like the tech demo, fucking brilliant, right? Yeah, this is Halo. And then they can put the old campaign out. We go, well, at least we've had fun on that multiplayer a week beforehand.
Yeah. It'd be roughly, if it happens tomorrow or today, as I suppose, as people are listening to this, it'd be about 3.5 weeks early.
Cool.
What if Phil and Alan cook up the early access bundles the only way you can get it? You have to buy 4 of the first 4 battle passes, which are a tenner each, 40 UK pounds. You could play it 3.5 weeks early. What do you say about that? Would you commit to that, or would you be like, fuck you, I'll wait till December?
To be fair, for me, someone like me who wouldn't play it that much.
No.
I certainly do want to dive in to give it a bash, but I would stick the finger up at Phil and say, up yours.
Up yours, Philip.
Up yours, Philip. I ain't having that. But I bet there's people out there that'll take it.
Oh, of course there will be. Of course there will be. I mean, it's a free-to-play game, so we know it's going to have... Well, it's a free-to-play mode. I don't know. The campaign's still sold at cost if you're not part of Game Pass. So they have to monetize it in some way, and they've been quite open that there's going to be some level of a battle pass, like seasons. They've put in some good policies in that they don't expire. So season 1, for example, might be Halo Reach fucking season, and that doesn't expire in 3 months. You could pick that up in 3 years and play that season again through with your and get all those unlockables. So there are some good policies in there, but it's a free to play venture. So don't be surprised when you see monetization techniques in it. And whether I'll partake personally in that, I don't know. If they gave me one through Game Pass, I'd have to, because it'd be in there. I'd be more inclined, but I don't know. I always don't. I've never bought a Battle Pass.
No, nor have I yet. To be fair, what was there? Hey, no, I didn't even buy one for Fortnite in the 2 days I played it.
No.
Or Rocket League? No Rockets.
No Rockets. No, I've not spent I haven't spent a penny on that because it was PlayStation Plus. And Epic bought them and chucked it out free to play.
Yeah, that's true. No, I've never
single player losers, isn't we?
Yeah, we are.
Don't want to get snarled up in that.
In this. But yeah, this is the one. This is the one with the challenges, isn't it? Or so
so the progression tied to, well, I say tied, I make it sound like it's awful, but it depends what the challenges are like. Your progression is tied to doing challenges, not on a per match basis. So, and they have said it'll be like that at launch, which people have inferred that later on it might not be. But again, if it ain't ready, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to get to the stage where I can't make any more progress unless I get 3 headshots by no scoping. They ain't going to be able to do it.
That is going to be a stinker.
They have to walk that down. I'm sure they won't be that tone deaf to put really advanced stuff in there. It has to be just playing a match, like 5 matches, and you'll get a bulk of XP or something like that. I wouldn't even tie it to winning, because then you'll get frustrated. You'll be like, these fucking useless bastards I'm playing with. I need one more win tonight to get me daily. And they keep putting me with absolute borderline pathetic worms, those slugs.
Those dirty slugs down at Swindon.
That Swindon lot trying to play it. Swindon clan, get out.
Nah. But
come through that wall.
Will you be livid if they don't bring it out tomorrow?
No, not at all. No, because I'm not expecting it. Like, every time we hear this sort of stuff, I think it'd be a really strange thing to do.
Oh, cool.
I know it's a 20th anniversary celebration.
I suppose it is of Halo as well, isn't it? Was Halo
I think
Day
so,
1?
yeah.
For Xbox OG. So yeah, it was, wasn't it? So it's a 20th Halo anniversary as well.
Like, I get that. It just seems like it would seem like an odd thing to suddenly drop on this, because I don't know. I guess it'd be fun. It would be like for people. Like, it depends how they do it. If it's just open to everyone, and there's like a battle pass optional, fine. I wouldn't. Again, going back to how we started this, I'm not going to be thrilled if it's behind certain committals to paying stuff. But I don't know. Would you have just got more people if you just said November the 15th 2 weeks ago? Get ready. Maybe, but there is the certain, like when they drop things out of the shadows, like when that PT dropped all those years ago, there's nothing else that you could read about on the internet. Like, it does generate a level of hype, and it's slightly unfortunate for them if they have been sort of scuppered here with these rumours, because people be prepared for it. But I still think it'd be a good thing. I just prefer being informed these days, just so I know. I don't like these Nintendo Directs coming out of the fucking woodwork one day before. I know we didn't talk too much about the Sony one, the third-party state of play. They gave a week's notice for that, and it ended up being not very good. I mean, it was only 20 minutes, and I had a shit that took longer than that earlier, so it weren't too bad an investment of time when you look at it that way.
No.
But again, I had a week to prepare for it. Maybe that built unrealistic expectations of people's heads, and you do just drop it. But I like to know things so I can plan. I don't like... it's worse for you with kids and whatnot. You can't just suddenly drop everything on a whim because Phil and Alan went, we'll release it today. I think I appreciate the sort of heads up if you can.
Yeah.
That's my view, but I might be being boring. But a lot of people are going to tune in tomorrow now at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, they will. Is it a red herring just to get numbers on there? Have they got some sort of fucking limited edition? I suppose they've done that. The Halo package.
That. But yeah.
New controller, get something watching. More adverts, I suppose.
What do you reckon? You lean towards it being true, or just a load of diggers that have found something and then inferred the wrong?
Yeah, diggers have found things before and not come to pass.
Yeah.
So don't know. I could see this being a thing, just because I say it is its own entity, and it's been delayed this long. They've had it in the cooker and that. They've had that they did seem to have a lot of good response to it.
Yeah.
And it does just seem like a good business sense to chuck it out.
I wonder if you also, by doing it sort of like this, you'll get a lot of people jump on, but you probably won't get as many. Like, people aren't going to be queuing up going, waiting for December the 8th, like they're going to be. So if you're worried about server capacity or things like that, this might just take, not a lot, because I think those that want to play it will still jump on it, but you might just not be so mad if you can just manage it and just drop it out there and be like, oh, it's there. Some people won't bother that night, and some people perhaps it will spread out the user spike, and they'll handle it, because we had awful issues with the Master Chief Collection for years before they sorted that. So that's still something that 343 need to make sure works. Doing a surprise thing like this will probably mean less people immediately, but it might give them a chance to just sort of iron out any creases. Where you say, right, in 3.5 weeks, Halo Infinite's coming out, people are going to, like I've just said, I'll be planning to play it as soon as I can, and you're going to have more people probably flood through the door.
But,
well,
interesting. We will watch this space and see.
I wasn't going to watch this thing, but now I feel like I'm going to have to.
All right, science.
have to do it. Xbox have been got a lot going on. So this past week, so we've got today, as people listen to this, it's the 20th anniversary of the Xbox. But this past week, we got to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the Xbox Series X and its little cousin, the Xbox Series S.
Beautiful.
It's been 1 year since Next Gen arrived.
Seems mental, doesn't it? Because it's not back on shelves. I forget.
Yeah.
It's been a full year since we took that little. No, we didn't for this one, did we? This was the day of disaster.
Yeah, so I had a stinker, didn't I? Like the release date was the 10th, like a worldwide release, so that was impressive for one thing. Amazon were taking care of mine. Got an email the morning of the 10th saying it ain't going to be there. Could be up to 5 to 7 working days. Fuming, I was. Really was not happy with that. It came the next day, fortunately, but I lost a day's worth of potential gaming. So I had the day off fucking work. And that then convinced me almost to nearly always order in a store. It's very rare that I'll go into a store to do anything nowadays, like even any type of shopping. But when that happened, I was like, I could have easily avoided this if I just walked down to Game and pre-ordered it, because they can still fuck it up, but less likely, in my opinion. So that wasn't great. But what do you think then? It's been 1 year on since the Xbox, and technically the PS5 as well. We got it a week later here in the UK, so we'll probably do a little recap of that next week, and maybe do a comparison of sorts, a little light one. But the Series X and S, have you been tempted to pick up a Series S as just an extra, or not really? And was you ever tempted to start with?
No, I don't think so. Even the only concern was the size of the actual beast, really. But other than that, no. That's why. I don't know. I suppose I've got more used to it these days. But it does annoy me, if I can't play a game at max settings. So I think that's if I'm playing that Series S, and I'll be like, right, but there's a 4K version out there that'll just niggle me.
You should have got a 3090 and a new Ryzen
exactly,
CPU. $8,000. You could have had it all.
Exactly. So it does annoy me a little, and I think I'd have that with consoles. No. To be honest, I think they're a good thing. Salmon seems to always be raving about it.
Yeah.
Which surprises me.
It's good value, though, I guess.
It sounds very good value for what you get and how they're pushing it. I didn't expect most games to run at 60 on it, to be honest.
No, 250 quid against 450 quid, 200 quid saving.
That is a big saving, to be fair.
Yeah.
And, so, no, I never did have any intention of getting that. I'll tell you one thing, that this year is probably the least game that I've ever bought on the console.
Yeah.
I think I bought 2 physical games on Valhalla and the Master Chief Collection. That is it. That's the only games I've bought on Xbox. The rest, I've just been playing all that Game Pass malarkey, which I did. I got I forgot what they called it now, an all access deal, I think it was, from Smyths, where I paid for for the console monthly.
That's it. Yep.
And a 2-year subscription to Game Pass Ultimate. Which in hindsight was stupid, really, because I'm paying full price for it.
It's true. You can get Game Pass cheap if you shop around. So that's the only thing about that. Early access, all access. Why is it always fucking access with Xbox?
I know,
use different words, Phil. Or maybe I should
fucking terminology.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still to this day, in comparing them, I think this is the better console in terms of sound. That fucking PlayStation still whistles to me. Playing that Dark Souls recently, it's still got that fucking.
You want to get those headphones and drown it out. That's the only way.
That's it.
When you can't hear when someone's broken and robbed a place, so that's the only
that's
downfall
true.
of that.
So physically, I think that it's. I've gotten used to the physicality of it, the chimney, the fridge.
Yeah.
I think it's a good-looking console, to be fair. But just in terms of how quiet it is, it's so snappy and quick. They've just recently updated the dashboard to 4K, so it all works very well. So it's basically the games, to be honest. Like I say, I've literally only bought 2. I'm not saying there's not been games, but I've really haven't. Like normally, I buy, I don't know, 5 a month, something like that. That's a lot, isn't it? For it's essentially a land mammal. No, but I've just literally been playing off Game Pass, and I don't think I've even bought any digital games on Xbox. I don't think I have.
No, I haven't. I think I bought Valhalla Day 1. Yeah. That was because, we
needed something.
Phil launched that thing with no first party, so that's still always just a botch in my view. I mean, ultimately, it hasn't. It doesn't matter now. We're a year deep, but on day 1, I was a bit like that. So that's just people say they're disorganised sometimes. Xbox, and they just make some fundamental errors. When they do things like that, I'm like, that's just bad planning. Like, you want to have something, even if it's cross-platform, which most of the stuff is, even on PlayStation these days. You want something to put on that and go, cool. But you had to rely on the third parties to bail him out. So I bought Valhalla on there. That might.
What about Take Two?
It Takes Two I played on. So Adcock bought that, and it comes with a friend pass. So someone can play free with you. So I played it via that. You don't get any achievements though, so that might annoy people.
Oh.
And now that's on Game Pass anyway, so it ain't got to be bought. So really, it has been an absolute Game Pass machine.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is great in one way, and now that the first party Forza's probably it's been the big one for a while. Yeah. We had Psychonauts 2, which was really good, but it was also available on the old PlayStation as well, so not an exclusive. But now the first party stuff's starting to cook and come out. We've got Halo imminently. The value of the Game Pass will start to increase significantly, and that's kind of what it's become. And again, probably goes back to the very start again. Why I have an issue with paying for stuff on the Xbox is I feel like I don't have to. Because of Game Pass, I just think, no, I'm not paying you anything. Or maybe I'll buy an expansion to a single-player game that you release, because all the DLC is still paid for. But I don't know, I've just been trained, I feel like, to not spend extra money. I'm like, no. That's all right.
And it has been a year of chucking out. I suppose there's been the whole Bethesda thing. That was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so
it was all formalised this year.
So we've had that Series X, and you're like, cool, now we've got every fucking Bethesda title under our thumb, under the belt. So it really has. But yeah, I don't see me buying. Well, that's a lie. I've been thinking about Far Cry 6 on. But
so why on that and not PlayStation?
Because of this VR art that's
to be honest, so this is fresh from Biff. He's PS5 only. He's got a lovely C1 telly. The next model, years old from R1. That has VRR capabilities, as we know. That's one of the reasons why we all got it.
Yeah. Them tits.
On the PS5, he said he notices all the screen tearing all the time. And that is we'll talk more about PlayStation next week, but that is just such a big omission to have, not a year later, isn't it?
Yeah. Was it? Might have even been Far Cry 5.
Was that pretty?
It's definitely. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I remember must have been before I'd bought my TV and I was playing it on my old Sony 4K telly.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to you, like, "Cool, I'm getting such screen tearing." And it was because they weren't ticked.
No.
And you had all the ticks. And I was like, "Cool, all right, that's got to be eradicated."
Oh yes, yeah, I forgot about this.
Because
you didn't buy the. I think you got Creed. I think it was Creed. You were seeing
yeah, it was Creed doing it.
I forgot you didn't buy your telly until after you got the console.
No, that's right.
Yes.
It was Creed. Yeah, you're right. It was Creed because I remember saying I've got a video I sent you. Yeah, you're right. Well done. Yeah, so it's got to be Ubisoft games because I've noticed it in 3 as well. 3 must have been 4 and 5 on that Xbox One X. So it's obviously a Ubisoft engine problem. Yeah. But to be fair, I do buy all my Ubisoft. Yeah, I suppose I do buy all my Ubisoft games on Xbox anyway. So I did opt for that. They tend to have a slightly better resolution. Normally you have like a native 4K. Biff did kindly say, did I want to borrow his in exchange for Guardians once I'm done?
Well,
get himself a deal
that,
there.
But...
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm gonna opt for the thing. But other than that, I can't think of anything else. Like FIFA, I'm no intention of buying that. I'm happy to wait till May next year and get it on that fucking EA.
And you got a 10-hour trial if you really want to jump in now.
You ain't even finished that. I've played about 4 or 5 hours, and I'm already bored. But there's a lack of need for buying games,
which is good for us. Yeah, because hand in pocket ain't got to happen. This is the whole point of that Game Pass. But I do find I wait for stuff now much more than I did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I suppose you can't believe you still haven't played Cyberpunk.
No. No, I've got it on. So Adcock sorted me out a code from someone. So I've got it. It's on PlayStation, but I was like, they've moved back the next gen patch. I was like, it's just no. Yeah. Well, I'll just wait. I've waited it's been nearly a year now. I can wait for that. It's fine. I've got plenty to play. I've got
that's
a backlog
the thing that
out of my arse, which has always been a concern. All Game Pass does is add to that backlog sometimes.
Well, this is it. Yeah, you said about an influx of numbers from Halo coming in. Even I'd say that San Andreas dropping just recently.
Oh, tons of people.
I thought that's a big enough game. Taking aside the
bugs
process of it, the feedback they're getting, but a GTA game being released day and date, as a remaster, but day and date on Game Pass, well, that's enough to get the punters in, isn't it?
Has Phil lied to us? He says you'll get all games day and date with Game Pass. What he said, at least that's what I understood. Why am I waiting for Forza? Day and date's Friday, ain't it, Phil?
Yeah.
I'm being pedantic now. That's what I was told.
That's what he said.
Dirty little bugger. Oh well, can't be helped. But no, I've enjoyed this series. I agree with a lot of what you say about the engineering behind it. Far better. Like just to look at, it's far smaller than the export from the PlayStation 5. It's still definitely lacked that. And this is only something that happens early on when you first get something, but I think it's important for your perception. If someone asks you early on what one to get, I'll say whatever one you can get your hands on at the moment because they're still like gold dust. But it didn't feel like much of a step up because all the UI was the same, the controller was near enough the same, and we noted that when we popped the PlayStation on, like new UI, brand new controller with new tech in, and Astrobot to boot to play immediately. Seemed like that was like I was like, oh, this feels more like a great investment early doors, but generally
that is definitely a game changer because like that Guardians, I would have bought that on Xbox had this been the Series 1X PS4 Pro dealio because I've just gone it's better on there. Yet now the PlayStation, because of that controller, I'm like that adds a new dynamic.
It's subtle, but if you enjoy it. Like it's more impactful than a slight resolution bump.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Really is.
It feeds back. So hopefully they're working on something like that. It's just kind of why I didn't want to get an Elite controller because I saw that they'd sent out a survey many months ago now saying what features would you like, and one of the features they kind of mentioned was tech in the controls. So Although they charge an arm and a leg for the Elite controllers, I'm wondering what eye-watering prices they'll come back with. That one that has haptics and adaptive triggers, but yeah. So I think it was a bit of a slow start for the Series X in terms of the games. We had a lot of hopes pinned on like the medium. That turned out to be a bit of a disappointment for many people, and then eventually came to PlayStation earlier than I was anticipating anyway. But I think now this second year is gonna be huge. Like it's gonna be good. Is what I should say. Say huge as well. I think it will be because we've got Halo coming. We've just had Forza. Redfall doesn't look like my sort of game, but still, they could market that in the right way, and it'll look good. And then the big kicker will be Starfield next year. That's a good churn out, and none of that is paid extra unless you want it early for some of them. Like you can just sit there and have that, and it'll be served to you. So your physical game collection is going to take a hit.
It's already started to be dismantled. It is now been moved to there.
Relegated.
Relegated. But yeah, there is no need, and it's been good. I've been playing. It's sort of equal. I'm sort of bouncing between consoles much more than I thought I would. That PS4 Pro and Series and One X, I certainly was favouring towards the One X just because that's.
It had not a significant. It had an advantage mostly, didn't it?
It did, yeah. But again, the games were coming out. You're getting the God of Wars. And I know, I gave God of Wars 4 there. You're getting games, the exclusives on there, and I was like, right. But even that's it. This is all that was all being set up for this. You know, these studios, that whole fucking generation was all getting ready, buying these acquisitions, and now it's the time to show.
It's starting to come together, which is good because I don't like to slag Phil off because we know Phil's friend of the show. Yeah, sometimes we've had to give him a good kick in just to get him in gear, and it's slowly coming together. It's taken a fucking long time, but
you know what they have focused on this year as well, which we sort of we had a little play with it, but not too much. But it's the cloud gaming. So now you can play that fucking Xbox Game Pass on anything you want. Your phone, your tablet, your old Xbox One, your fucking OG Xbox One. You can get that bastard if your internet allows it. You can play it. So
got another update here from one of the Dimp boys. So we've had Biff talking about his screen tearing issues with Far Cry, so that's put him off that. Logan yesterday got in touch with me asking about whether he can stream Football Manager Xbox Edition onto his iPad, to which I said, you should be able to. Turns out he couldn't do it natively through the app, but you can launch a browser and run it through there. So now he's got an old laptop, and that thing's suffering. It's not. We can't even record a podcast on it. He has to use his iPad. So that's the level of what's going on, unfortunately. Yeah. But he's now playing Football Manager for free. Well, including with Game Pass on his iPad, and he's loving it. Touch controls installed, and you're off. So he's loving it. So again, I won't have much of a use case for it personally, but for a game like Football Manager, you don't really need. It doesn't need to be on target, does it? No. There's no timing involved. No. It's a spreadsheet.
Simulator, but we've also got native keyboard and mouse functionality in these Xbox consoles. So full experience.
Got a lot going on, as Phil. Got a lot of plates to spin. So decent first year, but certainly brighter days are ahead, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
wasn't a terrible year. But
although it has got a lovely gash up the side of it.
Yeah, what was that? You dropped it.
Dropped the guitar.
Yeah, well, at least it's robust. Then it's taken a hit. And shrugged it off.
It's got chicks dig scars, right? I was looking into getting like a shell for it, or like one of them sticker things. Fuck it.
Well, I've got the fridge coming. Maybe we could engineer that into it.
Engineer that bad boy in.
I want to see those things linked together. So you have the Xbox is there, but there's a fridge also inside it. That's sort of the end game for this generation, I feel.
Get that KFC PC. Was that real, that thing?
I can't remember now.
It was like a April Fool's joke or an actual.
I think it may well have been. But
I thought so.
Anyway, happy birthday, Series X and S. Hope you had a good one. You're 1 year old, and Xbox itself 20 years old. So good for them. Because imagine if they weren't around, it was just Sony and Nintendo running the show, and fucking Sega. Imagine if they survived.
Master System 8 coming to you live.
God almighty.
There's rumours they were going to bring out a new console.
Can you see it now? Like someone doing like an Xbox, like starting up in like 2001. Like,
well, we've had so many, like the rise of fucking, what's it called? Stadia that have tried and gone, right, I know it weren't a console.
No, but that's the thing now. That's the only option.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much appetite to do an on-prem console.
I think something like a Sega are trying to get the nostalgia, like bringing back the Master System but again, like, I don't know if it could compete enough to join in. It would have to be something to go above and beyond, really.
Yeah.
Nintendo, like that Switch, very much people were like, oh, it's different because they play different games, but, what's Sega going to do? None of these can do. Are they going to go the 4K route and make the 3090 console, or are they going to do the VR experience? I don't know. They're going to have to.
There's probably not room anymore. I don't think anyone's got ambition for it because it's just an absolute punt at this stage.
Yeah.
And
do we see? Is that cloud gaming going to become the norm? And we aren't going to see. Consoles.
We start going down that road, right? It's got to be good. That's all I'm saying. It's not preferable. I don't want Phil to take his eye off the ball. I think they'll always have a level of support for people that want to buy stuff because it's not really much skin off their nose. But if that option starts dissipating, I will be annoyed. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, what you've been playing? We had a dilemma last week. And you had 3 games, and 1 game dropped, so technically 4, including Deathloop, which has been kicked to the curb by the sounds of things.
That has been kicked to the curb. That one...
Fucking creative director just been moved to the head of Arcane, and you're picking up his game and chucking it in the bin after a month.
I don't know, there's something that's not clicking right with me. I don't know.
Did you like the other Arcane games?
I loved I loved Dishonored. I've only played 1, I haven't played 2, to be fair. Right. But I did really enjoy that. I played that back on the 360. I think I did the DLC on PC.
Right.
But I got sucked into because I really wasn't feeling this game at first, and then when it came out and to the rave reviews, I was like, right, Fickle Tom, here we go. Let's get this on the fucking go. And bought it, and I liked what I played. I think it's a very cool idea and stuff, and it's the characters seem very good and stuff. But I don't know. There's nothing. It didn't grab me by the bollard, shall we say?
No, it wasn't a bollard grabber.
Make me want to play it till completion. I was happy to sort of come off, and I'm easily sidetracked. I've got the fucking attention span of a gnat, so.
This is Rodney now.
This is
Rodney trying to do his backlog. McWomble's just asked if Rodney's on. He's here. This is what Rodney does. He buys all these games and doesn't play them.
He does buy games. So this is another one. So this has now been taken. I bought this then Kenna.
Oh yeah.
Kenna did grab me by the bollard. I did complete that. I finished that. So them 2. So Deathloop has been put on the back burner, and that's one that will be on the back burner possibly for a while with what's coming out.
Yeah.
But I will like to go back to it. But just something. It's not an Adkins game. It's not a Rodney game.
No.
But let's not say it's a bad game. It's just I don't know. It's nothing gripping me. So then, what was I playing? I bought Guardian. I thought, right, I completed Kenna. I promised myself I wouldn't buy another game until Deathloop's done, but that's what's been put on the
sacrificed.
So I found a little deal online, and I think I managed to pick up Guardians for about 38 quid or something, was it?
Pretty good. Again, physical purchase can pay dividends if you hunt around in terms of price saving.
That's like a week after it came out, or 2 weeks. So I think since then, I played 2 hours of that. Very good intro. Love it, my sort of game. Definitely an Adkins game. Wasn't expecting that. It was very much the similar sort of thing to Deathloop. I didn't like the way it looked. I thought it looked ropey as hell. Just come off the back of the Avengers game, so you're like, cool. How are they going to pull this out the bag? Yeah, and played, come out to much better reviews than I thought. I was like, cool, I'm going to have to give that a go. So I took the chance and, yeah, played 2 hours of it and was like, lovely, brilliant, yes, I'll keep playing that. Then Forza comes out.
Yep.
I go, fucking hell. I loved Forza. I've played all the Forzas, loads of hours. Forza comes out. Oh, yes, here we go. 8 hours I've played now of Forza Horizon 5. Loving it, I am.
Good.
Then another fucking spanner in the works comes out, and these fucking fucks on YouTube get this Elden Ring network test.
Yeah.
So they sit and they watch that, and I'm going, cool.
Have you put in for that?
Nah, I haven't actually.
You didn't?
I did think. No, did you?
Oh, no, because in my head I just thought it was going to be PvP.
Right,
and I was like, I ain't playing that, but it isn't. You get to play like a big section of the game. I was like, oh, fucking hell. People are selling codes for about 100 quid on eBay, the dirty bastards.
I'm not surprised. Someone I was watching, he says, like, the biggest demo he's ever played.
Yes.
So, yeah, we sat there watching that, and then all of a sudden the balls started ticking in, and I thought, I really want to punish myself. I forgot that I bought Demon Souls. It's like, right. And I've made this joke the whole time. Like, as soon as I see Elden Ring, I go, I can't wait to buy that and not play it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with these fucking Soulborns games. Is I buy them, play a couple of bits.
Yeah.
Essentially get stuck. I haven't got stuck on any of them really.
You get stuck
scared.
on Bloodborne.
No, I didn't know. I just beat Gascoigne and I got to the bit where some fucker shooting me with a Gatling gun and then turned it off and went, I ain't doing anymore.
Yeah.
I will again. I need to go, but I was like, right, I'm really in the mood for playing Demon Souls. I was like, cool. I don't normally feel like this. I've normally get that horrible feeling like when you're watching a horror film and you're like, palms are sweating. You're like, I'm nervous wreck playing it. So I was like, right, fucking hell, I've got Guardians I want to get through. I've got Forza's just come out. Now fucking GTA's just been dropped. I want to try that, see what that's like.
Lucky that sounds like a bag of old shit.
Yeah,
so you might...
I played an hour of that. I went, yeah, that's.
Oh, did you play an hour? Did you?
I played an hour I just wanted to see what it looked like and ran on that Xbox. And to be fair, what I played was all right. Like, I didn't.
It's a 21-year-old game. Well, it's not quite.
I was gonna say that there's updated features. It's weird. Like some of the features didn't work. They supposedly in the menus added the feature from Red Dead 2 where you can talk to every
really
NPC. Press up, like you lock onto an NPC. Press up on the D-pad or down for good or bad response. Did that? Nothing happened. I was like, oh. So they claimed it. But yeah, it looks nicer and runs slightly smoother, and it has the wheel feature from GTA 5, which is obviously was good. But yeah, it still feels like an old game.
I don't know what people want.
Yeah.
I know they don't want it to be a buggy mess, which it sounds like it clearly is. But in terms of like the core features of it, I'm like, it's an old game. Like, there's only so much you can do with it.
Animation is the same.
Yeah.
The shooting's essentially the same. It's an old game. So that's not been me. So I've been juggling all these games, but I'm now this whole weekend since Thursday or Friday, I've just been solely. I'm in my phase. I'm in my Demon Souls. If I'm not playing it, I'm watching videos on
cheating,
tips and tricks. And that's what I was thinking earlier. I don't think these games can exist without the internet. There are so many things. I was thinking these games couldn't exist 10, 20 years ago, but I suppose they could because you had magazines. People were buying power-up magazines like Nintendo games. Much like Metroid that we were talking about the other week.
Yeah, the first one.
There's stuff in these games where I'm just like, how the fuck? Like, for an example.
Come on, Rodney.
An example. I'm in the first area of Demon Souls. And you get to an area, you go left or right. If you go right, you get to this really hard enemy.
Right, hang on. You know from playing video games, you always go left. Unless it's 2D, you go right. You have to.
Right, that's true. But if you go, this is left or right. There's no notification, no waypoint, no heads up. You've got this fuck hard boss. And if you can get past, or it's not a boss, it's just an enemy that's fuck hard.
Yeah.
If you can get past him, you then get another one, which is an actual boss, or not technically, he's not a boss because you don't get a boss bar. But again, someone who's triple harder than the one before.
Yeah.
But that is an end game boss that you're supposed to go to once you complete the game. There is nothing at all that says, don't go to him, you'll get wrecked. There's point.
I think that's part of, like, I remember reading up about Demon Souls, and that was one of the things they said where, like, stuff like that has been ironed out better in, like, subsequent releases, like just weird stuff like that just doesn't really fit. I mean, it came out in 2008 or 2009, sorry. So I mean, we still had the internet then, I guess. But I think I've told this story before. When I played Bloodborne, I joined a Facebook group and would get tips off there and ask questions. I'd say, like, I'm in this area, yada yada yada, and then they would come back and be like, try this, try going to that area, blah blah blah. Yeah. And without that, I wouldn't have got through it. I don't think I would have been able to get through it.
I don't think these games can exist and certainly be as popular as they are without a community and without discussing.
It's like Monster Hunter a little bit. You think how technical that was? How much research we had to do really to get our heads around it.
And there is such little, and it's a good thing. It is a good thing, you know. I know we are very spoilt with hand holding in games.
No H's.
No H's, hand holding and going. So, yeah, it is when this is literally stripped from you. They give you the basics to defend yourself and attack, and they go, off you go.
Yeah.
And I'll do that, and I'll get to there, and I go, right, here's an enemy, and then I think, and I'll get this fucking inventory full of items. I'm like, what's all this do? And I get this stuff.
Read the descriptions. Don't mean nothing.
Exactly. Like, if you kill a boss, you get you can transfer the item into a list of souls so you can upgrade stuff.
Yeah.
But you go on in there and Google it. Everyone's going, don't do that at the beginning. Don't use that because you'll need that later on. But they didn't tell me I need that later on. I've just already fucking done it now, you bastard. I haven't, thank God. But there is nothing in here that tells you what to do. It's all you need to learn by your mistakes or talking to a friend and reading these guides.
Yeah.
It's these games definitely rely so much. It's good because it does make you go out your way and do that. You know, you can't just, fucking breakneck it on your own accord. No. You can't go in blind and go, right, yeah, I know exactly what to do. Bosh. But yeah, I am fucking hook, line and sinker, balls deep in.
What's the end game here? I get Demon Souls because PS5 exclusive, looks fucking gorgeous. So one of the technical showpiece of that console, most definitely. So I get that. Yeah. But then there's talk about going back to Bloodborne. There's talk about doing Dark Souls. What are you doing with your life? Yeah.
Well, Rodney said, I made that joke that I can't wait to buy that
I just be frank with you. Elden Ring is not a sequel to Dark Souls, according to Miyazaki. I've read it a few times. It's just I told you that fucking George R.R. Martin was talking bollocks all those months ago, and he said it's a new world, but I bet you maybe it's not. So I knew that would trigger Rodney to maybe going to do all three of them.
Well, this is it. But I have promised myself I can't buy Elden Ring unless I complete Demon Souls. That is my...
Okay, so only Demon Souls is what Rodney's...
Only Demon Souls. But if I do that, then I've completed Demon Souls and Sekiro, possibly the hardest two. So there is a bit... And I do still want to go back to Bloodborne. That is a dream. I wish I could just cut everything out and go, just get that done.
Yeah.
And I'll happily die. I'll die happily mad if I can complete Bloodborne. But I don't have the attention span to cut everything out and just focus on that. I was talking to you this earlier off air when I was saying about I don't know what's the best for these games. To focus on a game solely, block everything out and give it your all. Or am I just going to stress myself out and get pissed off of it and then go, nah, I'm sick of it.
I'll go back to Guardians. Friendly banter being said every 5 minutes.
This is the thing, friendly banter. I can steam through. It's like a fucking walking simulator. I'll breeze through that game. But So yeah, I'm playing all sorts at the minute, but I am balls deep into this. I feel like I'm in a good space because I've got this knowledge now. I'm setting myself up, making itself easier for me as I can. Still fucking hard, but I'm in there. Yeah, I'm in. I'm deep. I've
Wow.
been trying to talk to fucking. Well, I haven't been trying, but I want to talk to Adcock, but he's gone AWOL. I ain't heard from him for
Well,
months.
I just send him a message off. He won't respond in that Dimp group because it's fucking garbage in there. I don't want to,
Yeah,
but that's that. But drop him a message if you're stuck. He's playing
yeah.
Metroid Dread at the moment, so
Oh,
he's
that's
messaged
it.
me
But
that
yeah,
a
he
few
was the
times.
resident Demon Souls. But no, I'd like to go through them because, like people say, I just love the look of the games. Well, I wish there was an easy mode so I could play them and enjoy them. And they're
Yeah.
not a fucking chore of life.
Would you actually
I
do
get.
that though? Would you actually put an easy
Well,
mode on?
this
Because I
is
know
what
you're
I was.
stubborn.
This is the thing. I was talking to Jordan about this because
But Eli.
he's Eli. He bought Demon Souls off of my recommendation. Got him. And he got to a point where it's too hard. Like he started doing this. Is what the only thing about Demon Souls, if you start doing shit, they really punish you for it.
Yeah.
So he got to that point and went, I can't be dealing with that.
No.
And he sort of said, oh, I really like the look of the Elden Ring because it looks so much more accessible and that could be quite easier than this. And
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I said, but I think if they did go right, fuck it, this Elden Ring, we're gonna appeal to everyone. We wanted this to be their bestseller.
Yeah.
And if they cut that out and they put a story mode or a story mode difficulty or an easy difficulty, and you could breeze through the game,
Yeah.
I think that would kill the essence of the game. I don't think these games exist without being too hard. If
No.
these games weren't hard, these would be looked at as the same as fucking Kingdoms of Amalur or something, because the stories are all right. The fucking the what's it called will have me guts for this for saying there's no story in it. It's all in the law, you bastards. But the end of this is that these games aren't about the story. There's no one playing Demon Souls for its rich and telling story and characters. They're there, you got to fucking fork them out. But
Aye.
this is the well, exactly. But it's the fuck hard fucking bosses, the world design that's incredible, the fucking disgusting enemy
They
designs,
are
fucking
filth, aren't
bosses.
they? When you see the
They are
state of some of those, you
disgusting.
think, fuck me, you've had an hard
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, looks like the sort you
So
get
I
in the
felt like
exhibition.
Saturday morning when I woke up. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Feel like a Bloodborne boss,
Yeah.
and it is such the charm. So if you
Cleric
take that
Beast.
away, clear that fucking ugly
He
bastard
did it first
straight off.
time. Pro.
Oh man,
Gascoigne had your
cheese.
guts though, didn't he?
Yeah, cheesed him, got him stuck. But yeah, would you take it? Would you happily just to breeze through it, or do you feel like after completing Bloodborne that is the feeling? Because it really does. Like you get
Yeah.
stuck on that feeling. It's like a drug. It
It
is, and I
is.
know I took them all.
You do get. It's tricky. Like, I don't think I'm too stubborn probably to move it down a level.
Yeah.
Whatever I loaded it up on, and I do this with nearly every single game, I just leave pretty much every setting other than graphical to maybe turn to performance mode. The only time I've ever moved the difficulty up is a handful of times. One was for The Last of Us, the original, on Biff's
Oh,
recommendation. He said put it on hard because it gets rid of the listen mode. I
yeah.
don't know why. He was like, well, did it? And it's like, yeah, it was harder. And
Yeah.
then the other one was Alien Isolation because in the menu it said hard mode and it said in like brackets, developer recommends this difficulty. And once I saw that, I was like, well, I've got to play developer's intent, and I like a schmuck. Got through it, like it was fine. So I'll just leave it on whatever the game gave me, and just be like,
I
it's out of my
always
hands. Then I'm not.
I used to go for easy back in the 360 days. I would.
A lot of
There's
people
many a
do.
game.
A lot of people
The
do because
most
do you
places
need the
I played it
stress?
Yeah, I've since gone back and I feel like it again, like yourself. I'm just sort of cheating. I'm like, cool, these easy games, and
Yeah,
I always now just go for normal.
yeah.
But yeah, certainly,
My view's always
yeah,
been on the easy mode. Like if the developers, if From Software don't want to do it, then that's fine. For some people, you just got to say it's not for me and walk away from it. And for other people, you say, yeah, I love this, but either way, it wouldn't affect me if they added it. But at the same time, I wouldn't. I don't feel inclined to sort of hold their feet to the fire and say, you must do this, you must make it easy, you must just let them do their game, and if that means only 5 million people want to play it instead of 15, that's up to them, innit? If they want to, if they want to make it accessible and leave money on the table, ultimately, I couldn't give a fuck. I'll play it if I want to. I do want to play Elden Ring, but it's just coming out at just a chock-a-block month, so it could do with another delay, or something could do with a delay out of February. So that's I guess the only real thing that I'm concerned about. But yeah. There we go.
Difficulty there. You just froze on mine.
Yeah, you froze on mine. I was waffling away. Technical problem there, but it's been a bit spotty actually this afternoon. Maybe that's a call for us to close it down. We're at the mark where.
Just quickly though, do you have any intention of going through Demon Souls?
Sorry. Demon Souls, maybe one day. Elden Ring, yes. So what I was just saying actually was I want to play Elden Ring, but it's coming out at the worst month of the year. Horizon's that month. Like for me, the safe option is just to go with Horizon and not worry about Elden Ring until a bit later, and then let all the boffs play it, and then maybe you've gone through it, and I'm like, in you come. I'm not proud enough to not summon people. I will use the co-op.
I will use.
I know some people are like, oh, you can't do that on your first fucking playthrough. It's like, well, of course I fucking am. This cunt's killing me.
Exactly, yeah, no, I 100%. If there's an option,
it's in the game, I'm using it. They give you resource for it, I'm using it. So yeah, it's coming at a busy time. I will check the schedule again and just try and plan it out. But I'm thinking Horizon's going to be a couple of weeks. It's going to be a big game, probably like the first one, 40 hours maybe. That's not getting done in a short period of time. Elden Ring's about that anyway. It's a big, expansive open world. It's got a lot of secrets to discover. I really want to, if I'm going to do it, I want to dig into it properly and not feel like I'm, want to go off and play something else. So I'm definitely interested. Maybe not day one, but certainly during 2022, if I can find a month or a little bit of extra to do it, I'm down for doing it. And anyone that wants to help me, the door's always fucking open.
Yeah.
So I'm not proud enough to do that. Right. Let's call it. Close. Done a good job, I think, there, cramming all that in. Hall was in the chat, thanks for chatting. McWomble was in the chat, gave us a couple of little cheers, so thank you for that. Paper was in there telling you to watch AEW Full Gear, which will probably be tomorrow now for you, so stay off that internet and keep your Twitter stuff closed. But I appreciate your time once again, Mr. Adkins. It's always a pleasure to speak to you about the world of video games and some of the games I've been playing. Everyone listening, you can support us on patreon.com/dimpdigital, or head over to twitch.tv/dimpdigital and subscribe to the channel either normally, or if you've got Twitch or Amazon Prime, you can link that to Twitch and do it for free. Get me some more beer so I can have another awful hangover. But we appreciate you for listening, watching, whatever you're doing, and spending an hour or so with us each and every week. So we thank you for that. Nothing else for us to say here, though, other than thanks for your time and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.